A few days ago, my inbox practically exploded thanks to all of you because Sport Auto, one of Germany's leading car magazine, has published its super test involving Chevrolet Corvette Z06. Now, a super test is basically a lap around the Nürburgring Nordschleife to see what the car can do. And many of you have been surprised, I would even say frustrated, that the lap time was, so to say, kind of disappointing. A lot of people expected a sub-7 lap time, but well, the car managed 7:11. Many of you have asked me to give my opinion. This is what I will do right now quickly. So this video is published, well, filmed at 11 at night on 16th of November, so will be published immediately. It will be also a bit raw. But before we do that, let me quickly remind you that we have released our Nürburgring sweaters and also a new 360 Nürburgring book. It's officially licensed Nürburgring product, so go to the link in the video description, use code Misha24 and enjoy 15% off. Very good, so you can be fancy for the holidays and also know what the hell is happening with the lap times, because you will have all the knowledge because I've helped to write this book. So what I will do today, let's start probably with lap time analysis, and I will give you lots of my insights and yeah, I think there was actually something wrong. So let's go first quickly with the lap. So 3, 2, 1, start. So Christian Gebhardt behind the steering wheel of the C8 Z06, going to Sabine Schmidt's curve, quite alright through here, and going into descent to Hatzenbach. The minimal speed is roughly 162 kilometers per hour, which is kind of matching with everything else. Then he goes on the brake, turn in, and then here slightly slides and loses control. That costs him a couple of tenths of a second. Through here, not using the right curb, kind of cautious. I would almost think that maybe the tires are cold. Downshift, upshift. Kind of weird through Hochheichen over there. Alright, flat out going to Kudabache Höhe, exceeding 200 kilometers per hour. And then at Flugplatz, he's actually kind of over braking because the minimal speed in GPS is 173, 172 kilometers per hour, which is quite low, which we will see later on. All right, accelerating through Schwedenkreuz, and the speed is exceeding slightly 260 kilometers per hour on GPS. Over the jump, 269, kind of okay. Over the crest, just over 200 kilometers per hour, also not that fast, I would say, in comparison with the main contender, 992 GT3. On average, the car is like 10 kilometers per hour slower through the corners from what I've seen with my analysis. Downhill descent down Foxhole, 250, 260 kilometers per hour on GPS, on the brakes, turning in. Of course, the new curb, going into Adenauer Forest, on the brakes, turn in, and gas, flat out. All right, go to Metzgersfeld. Nothing here to be crazy mentioned. On the brakes, turning in, and then running kind of conservatively to the right side on the brakes, turn, and now listen again to the gear shift. Clip the curb a bit. Brakes. It basically upshifted and then downshifted immediately. Also here, something is with the shifts. Basically, what I want to say is what I have noticed, because I might as well just tell you what is concerning to me, is that I do not see him use the pedal shifts at all. Oh. Brave, letting the steering wheel go. No use of pedal shifts. I think the car is in fully automatic mode. Is it bad with today's, I would say, gear selectors or like gearboxes of today's technology? I don't think so. As a pro driver, I would want to be in control, especially the fact that we notice that the car is upshifts, downshifts, upshifts. I'm sure there are like a couple of tenths, maybe hundreds, but combined tenths or even whole seconds are being left on the table. So that is concerning. Now, Here we start the Kesselchen climb, and of course also here the top speed on the main straight, on the long straight, is really frustrating, not that high. It has been mentioned that the problem is the very long fifth gear, which really does not allow the car to hit high top speeds. Mood curve, kind of okay, 170 kilometers per hour, but while Christian is on his way to Steinstrecke and Carousel, where not a lot is happening for me to talk you through, one thing that I really want to say is that it's kind of weird that the walkie-talkie is there where it is, because at no other video have I seen the walkie-talkie of Christian with the connection to the marshals deliberately block the speedometer. And with combination of what it seems to be the automatic gearbox, maybe there is something that we do not know. Anyway, 8. Here is kind of okay, but then through Wipperman again we're gonna have some issues with the gears. Again, downshift, upshift. It's kind of staying off the curves, being relatively conservative. And here we're gonna have again upshift, downshift. And when I compared the lap with my own lap with the Z06, which was by the way a European version, it sounds like that there's still a bit more revs left. So maybe it was possible to keep the gear higher in its rev range. Alright, also here, not using the curb, not that it's necessary, but overall the lap is quite conservative from what I have seen in the past from Christian and in general. Anyway, Flansgarden 2, turning in left curbstone, 200-ish kilometers per hour GPS here. Not crazy fast, I would say. Average speed again, and turning in again the gear selector. It's kind of hard for me, like honestly, to be making this video because something really feels off for my perception. Again, with the whole combination of everything. Right. I just literally gonna skip here a bit forward while the car is accelerating towards the main straight. Just watch the speedometer. So we are working with GPS speed here. It was 200 kilometers per hour, and then it slowly climbs towards 270 something, I think, 200, maybe 280. The thing what you need to keep in mind is that it took, I think, close to 12 seconds to go from 200 to 260, and in comparison the Turbo S or even Huracan Performante, which is also naturally aspirated, does it in half, like 7 or 8 seconds. So that's a very big problem. Of course, probably it has to do with the fact that the Z06 has significantly more downforce than the previous cars, but most importantly it has to do with the longer fifth gear. All right, overall, as mentioned, the gear selection is it feels off to me. The fact that the walkie-talkie is deliberately, for my perception, deliberately blocking the speedometer, it feels off to me, because at no other super test that I've seen of Christian, he had walkie-talkie there. Even if it would be in the front, it would be on the windshield, far out of reach, or somewhere in the door. So I know he's been doing it for over a decade, and I know he's also a content creator, so with having this angle, I've never seen him put it there. So it's kind of weird. Again, well, maybe I'm just like having a bit of a conspiracy, because at the end of the day, we're also just like, it's the internet, we like to conspire. So there's that. Finally, point 3 that I want to say, aside from the obvious long fifth gear, it felt very conservative, especially the beginning, the earlier sections of the track. So Flugplatz, also the small slide, it looked like he was not completely confident with the car, although the car is on Michelin Cup 2R tires. So what I would think is maybe that the first part of the track he was still getting used to the car. Why would he still be getting used to the car? Should he not be doing more laps? This is a US spec car without OPF, extremely loud, possibly, potentially too loud for the track. So maybe he was given the car for just one lap and said like, hey, listen, one lap and that's it. You break the sound barrier and then we'll have to kick you off the track. Again, speculation, but possible. One last final thing that I would like to take a look at, a very nice data analysis by Revt from German car forum. Car forum still exists, that's so awesome. He compiled all the data of the previous Sport Auto tests. Corvette. Alright, so we have here the Corvette Z06, and with its lap time of 7:11, it's exactly between like 991.1 GT3 RSMR and AMG GTR. Both cars were driven in 2017, 7 years ago. To have the same lap time on stickier tires, because the Corvette is on Cup 2Rs, whereas the other cars were on Cup 2s, is kind of awkward. Frustrating. And the main contender, the main contestant, or well, rival of the car is a 992 GT3. The reason why so many people were frustrated with the lap time, because lots of other journalists compared the Z06 with the 992 GT3 on other tracks, and Z06 was significantly faster. Well, not significantly, it was faster than the GT3. And taking into consideration that the Z06 is not, well, actually more affordable than GT3, at least in US, that was a big achievement. And here it's completely opposite. So, looking at the lap times, as mentioned previously, Flugplatz 173. This is literally the slowest of any car over here, well, except the Turbo S, but it's a heavy chunky boy with no aerodynamics, so kinda okay. And also that car was on P0. Is it P0? I guess it's a P0, or maybe PS4S. Well, I guess it's P0, so then it's, yeah, it even makes sense. So 10 kilometers per hour, roughly slower than other cars. And the same goes also for all the others. The most frustrating one is Kesselchen, 243, whereas the GT3 was doing 254. So again, 10 kilometers per hour faster. True there, and all the other cars even more. Look at that bad boy McLaren 720S, like, yeah, for Schwedenkreuz was almost doing 300 kilometers per hour, and as well as the Döttinger Höhe. So, yeah, long fifth gear, for some reason, slower corner speeds on grippier Cup 2R tires and a lot of aerodynamics. I don't know why. Weird gearbox, shifting up and down. Sad, frustrating. Christian said the car with normal gearbox, or like, let's say not too long fifth gear, should be a sub-7 car. Yeah, absolutely, but it doesn't have a short fifth gear. Just like the FL5 in the stock configuration has a very long fifth and sixth gear, whereas the lap record car had significantly reduced final drive. So ifs and buts, I don't think we can really compare them. I don't know. Technically, the car should be definitely sub-7, but it was not, and I understand everyone's frustration. But I've given a couple of reasons that could be potentially maybe something was wrong with the car. Maybe the driver was not really used to it because he had to go out quick, because either time constraint or noise decibel level constraint. Could have been anything. Anyway, one final thing I want to say about the gear is, why is it too long? It shouldn't be there. I mean, okay, it's overdrive, so probably either for fuel consumption or maybe emissions if the car is being tested in fifth gear on the dyno. It doesn't match, it doesn't suit. It's, like I said, like throughout the video, it's kind of weird. The whole vibe is weird. Maybe I just need to go to bed. Anyway, let me know what you think of it, but those are my 2 cents. On to the next car, I guess, next Nürburgring lap record, which most likely is going to be 992 GT3 RSMR, because that car is getting unveiled next week on the 20th, I think. just before Icons of Porsche in Dubai. Coincidentally.